Follow along on this 4-part series as we explore Portugal in our self-built camper van. So we've come to this really quiet car park, and I think there's a beautiful beach just down there. And before we go and explore the beach, I'd like to say a big massive thank you to Squarespace, who has sponsored today's video. I'll talk a bit more about that later on in the video. Now let's go and have a look at this beach. Theo, I just called Ginjey Theo. Ginjey's standing guard. The beach, I think, well, it must be there because that's where the sea is. Ginjey's been for a little walk and she had some fun with that. I can't wait to go and see this beach because along the coast they're just gorgeous. And our tyres are just amazing. We've been down some pretty hairy roads recently and we're so used to not being able to go in all different areas that these have just completely surprised us. Theo loves it.
There was a bit yesterday where we went down this crazy incline with these massive, like, I don't know, basically where the road had washed away, so there was massive craters. No one was touching it. We went straight down, straight back up, and the van performed like it was easy. I was so shocked, and that is what we want. We wanted an adventure mobile, and that's what we got. The only bad thing was a packet of rice fell off the side and went everywhere. That's because it was a bit bumpy, but it was fine.
This whole time I've been searching for the wrong thing. She's my captain, she's the sea, she's the sun on my back, baby, believe me.
Guys, this beach is incredible. There's so many of these little beaches that kind of link on to other beaches, and there's caves and little walkways and stuff. Really interesting. So we've just found this tiny little cave that goes through onto another beach. There's B.
I'll never have to brave the cold alone. She's the kind you only find in a story.
This cave is like something out of a mermaid film, and the view is ridiculous. This is probably the loudest and the most beautiful place. Why have you got socks on, you crazy? I think this is probably the most beautiful beach I've ever been to in my life. This beach, right in the marina, is gorgeous. Okay, so I mentioned that I think, for me, this beach is better than Praia Marina. And obviously we haven't been there on this trip, but we have been there before in our previous van. And we've got vlogs about that, so I'll put a card up and a link in the description because that beach is really beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. I think it's classed as one of the top 10 most beautiful beaches. But this one's just blown my mind. The cave leading through to that other bit is just unbelievable. The water is so clear here. If it wasn't so cold, I'd be tempted to go for a swim. That was an absolutely amazing way to start the day, and the next step to continue it being a brilliant day is to have a really tasty breakfast. So I showed you in our last vlog, I think, about the really easy breakfast that we make kind of overnight oats, basically the night before, but I'm going to do a nice cooked breakfast today, English style. I'm talking mushrooms, baked beans, grilled tomatoes, that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to whack that all on now and show you how I do it. So I'm going to cut the tomatoes in half and cut them in half, mushrooms. They don't look like mushrooms from this angle because you can't see the stalks, but they are. And then put them all in here, and then they go in the oven and just cook themselves, which makes breakfast very simple. So I'm going to let them all cook down nicely together. I've sprinkled some olive oil on the mushrooms and some salt, pepper and garlic on all of it to give them some nice flavour. So they're going to go in the oven now for about, oh, squeaky, about half an hour. So even though I've got an oven, I still use my trusty Ridge Monkey every day because, well, It's brilliant. So I'm going to do the potatoes in here. They cook so much faster in here. So I've got some potatoes with onion and herbs and spices. They cook really fast in the Ridge Monkey, and then once they're done I can just put them in the oven with the other stuff to keep hot. And then next it's coffee time. I mean, how have I gone this far in the day without coffee? So I've put the potatoes in here. Everything's cooking almost done now. So what I'm going to do is eggs in here. Eggs in the Ridge Monkey cook so well, really well. Look at Ginjey lounging on the floor. She's so cute. In the sun, the only patch of sun, and she's in it. Whoa, that got a bit steamy. So the good thing about the Ridge Monkey is when you have the lid down and the eggs on, it cooks the top and the bottom at the same time. So we've got nice crispy eggs with runny yolk still, but cooked on top, so that's ace. And then another tip for lazy girls like me, I'm going to do the Heinz in here afterwards because it's way easy to clean the Ridge Monkey. And when I don't know why I call it Heinz, baked beans. I'm going to do the beans in here now. So the tomatoes, mushrooms and potatoes are now all really nicely cooked down so they can go on the plates. I love these plates, they're the best thing I ever bought. Bamboo, very, very lightweight, so easy to clean, and they look cute as well. And there we have it. His and hers breakfast cooked up so easily in our van. I love our cooking setup in here, it's brilliant. This breakfast will keep us going for hours. Oh, Ginjey's in the driver's seat. Are you driving us to our next destination, Bear? Brilliant. So we're on the move again, and our next destination is Ikea. Ikea, because I've got some things that I want to get for the van. I want to get some nice little bits to really help complete it, because as you guys might not know, the van isn't fully finished yet. There's still some bits that we want to do to it, and there's some things that I can grab from Ikea, and there's one only about 20 miles down the road, so we may as well go and check it out. So we're at Ikea. I'm leaving Theo and Ginjey Bear here. I'm off to go and get the supplies I need because I know exactly what I need, and also fingers crossed they sell some veggie meatballs because they're gluten-free and tasty, so let's go and see. Oh yeah. Veggie meatballs. Oh my gosh, avalanche. So in my excitement at getting to Ikea, I actually completely and utterly forgot to film it, so I got stuff. Great stuff to make the van more like a home than it already is. So the main reason I went to Ikea was to get these. These are really nice, kind of like sheer curtains that I used in the caravan renovation, and I want to put them on the back door. I know we don't have any windows there, but it'll just add a real nice softness to the bedroom area. So I got also this like curtain rail wire thing. So I should be able to put those up over the next few days, which is brilliant. And then of course, I got some veggie meatballs, so we're gonna have those for lunch now, yes. So there we have it, veggie meatballs and mash. Let's give it to Theo. So after our trip to Ikea, we've come back to our favourite stretch of coastline in the Algarve. It really sets off Theo's photography. He gets really inspired here. So we thought we may as well come back because we love this area so much. So I'm happy to be back here. It's so peaceful. There's birds everywhere, the sun's shining, the sea is crashing all around me. It's just really wonderful. So I'm happy to be back here. And actually, there was something that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was travelling with a cat. So I thought I'd tell you guys all about how we found it travelling with our cat Ginjey Bear, and any tips that we may be able to bestow upon you if you're thinking of travelling with your cat. So underneath the seating area here, we've got Ginjey's litter tray. She needs a litter tray, she won't go to the toilet on demand. So in this little private area of hers with her own little name badge underneath, She's got an inbuilt litter tray that's super easy to empty. We just lift the chair up and there you go. So she uses that. It's brilliant and it keeps the smell in. And then below there, we've got a scratch mat for her. I've put some catnip on there just to encourage her to use it. She does use this every single day. As you can tell, it's pretty battered now, but she loves it. It was on the wall for a bit, but she still uses it when it's on the floor. And then down here, this is a cool mat. I was really worried about Ginjey getting too hot if she had to be in the van when we were out. So I deliberately bought a massive cool mat. It folds in half, but this stays cold. I always keep it low down because it's always cooler on the bottom of the van. It's definitely cooler in the garage, which she can get through and spend time in. So she has this to sit on that she doesn't actually use that much because it never gets that hot. Here's the catnip. She absolutely loves it. It's brilliant. If you have a cat, you know the catnip is amazing. So here we've got her harness and her little lead. This retracts to 3 meters and it's great for letting her go on walks because she feels more independent with that on. It's not really short so she can kind of wander off on her own, but you're still connected to her. This is her current harness. I'm not the biggest fan of it because it's actually for a dog, which means the neck is a little bit baggy. She does sometimes get her paw up there and gets a bit distressed, so I never leave her in this harness on her own because she can get trapped. And also it means that if I leave her in the harness with just that, she could actually slip out of it. So I wouldn't recommend leaving your cat on a leash unattended because cats are very tricksy and they can get out of harnesses. So down in this corner of the kitchen, we've got Ginjey's feeding station. She likes to have sachets or soups. She's obsessed with cat soup. She has only allowed them very rarely because she's addicted. Biscuits and water. She insists on only drinking water out of mugs, so that's why she has that. We empty the water every time we drive off because we don't want it spilling. And also a top tip, I would recommend don't feed your cat, and it might apply to dogs as well, about an hour before you're going to drive off, because sometimes when we first started travelling, when Ginjey wasn't used to being in the van, if she'd have breakfast not too long before we left, she would vomit it back up because of the movement, because she wasn't used to it. Now she's totally fine and that's why she's got her biscuits out, but when we first set off I always just give her a little bit of food a couple of hours before we go and then just travel so she doesn't vomit, because that just makes the situation even more stressful for them. So above the kitchen area here, we built out an overhead storage unit that goes over the front cab, which is excellent for storing things like kitchen roll, cereal, scarves, random soft things. And also in this corner here, we've got a fleecy blanket because Ginjey actually loves to sleep up there. She jumps up from the kitchen. I don't quite know how she does it, but we hoped when we built it that she'd use that, and she does. She loves sleeping up there. It's one of her favourite spots in the van. So as you can see, Ginjey has a collar on. Hey! And around her collar, she has a tracker that I will show you in more detail when she comes back. Her tracker's been excellent. It's by WeNect. I'll put a link in the description, and it works everywhere we've been so far. I know it works in a massive number of countries. It's a GPS collar. It has an app so you can see where they are real time. You can see where they've been over the past 24 hours, and you can also drive to the location there. There's loads of features on it. It's really great, and I'm going to do a blog post about that. But her tracker's been great. She wears it every single day, and it gives us peace of mind. If anything happens, if she ran off and got scared or something, we'd be able to find her. So here's the tracker around her neck. It clips onto her collar really easily. It has a silicone case so you can get the tracker out when you need to charge it. This is the little charging port for it. I charge it every couple of days and it's brilliant. She wears it 24/7. It doesn't affect her at all. She really does not care about the tracker, so it's just fantastic to have that extra piece of security with Ginjey Bear. So we also carry a cat basket with us. I've taken the front off because I like to encourage Ginjey to spend time in there so she's comfortable with it and doesn't dread going in the cat basket. So it's got a nice comfy fleecy blanket in it because she loves fleece. So it's always good to carry one of these, partly because if you're going on a ferry or something, you're going to need this to transport her to the cabin. If you're going on the ferry from Portsmouth to Bilbao, you definitely need one of these. And it's also just really advisable if anything happens, you need to take them to the vets or something like that, you've got a carrier for them. And also it's just an extra safety feature for them as well, so you can keep them in that whilst you're travelling. And then the final piece that you might be asking about is how were you able to travel from the UK to Europe with Ginjey? Well, she has a pet passport. Now, with Brexit happening, that might change the way it works, but at the moment I'm going to go by what it worked for getting it pre-Brexit. So her pet passport was really simple to get. She just basically had to have a rabies jab, and then you have to wait a couple of weeks before you're allowed to go abroad, basically. It's a little bit more complicated than that, and I will do a blog post on it, but you do need a pet passport to go over to Europe. And cats, unlike dogs, do not need to have a worming tablet before they go back to the UK, because I know that people with dogs have to go to a vet within a couple of days of going back and have a worming tablet administered by that vet in order for them to come back to the UK. Cats don't need to do that, so that makes it even easier to travel with them. And yeah, it's a cute little pet passport, and you can put a picture of your pet in there, and we do want to do that just because it's funny. But they're not identified by the picture, obviously. They're identified by their microchip, so they can only have that one microchip, and it can only register with this. So pet passport, definitely worth having. It lasts for 2 years before you have to have another rabies jab, so definitely get one of these if you're thinking of travelling abroad. It's incredibly simple, and I highly recommend travelling with your pet. It's a lot of fun. Ginjey's part of our family, so it'd be weird not to have her with us when we're travelling. And also, as I said, I've been writing blog posts about the travels. I wrote a blog post all about travelling from the UK to Portugal with Ginjey Bear. We went across the Bay of Biscay. It was a 32-hour ferry crossing, I think it was. You had to have a pet cabin because Ginjey Bear's not allowed to stay in the van for that length of time. So she was in the cabin with us. It was really nice actually to have her with us, but I did write an entire blog post all about that, really in depth. So if you want to check that out, that's on our website, which we have through Squarespace. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that today this video has been sponsored by Squarespace, and that's who we have our website through. It's so simple to use. If you want to make a really nice, flashy looking website but have no idea how to do one, Squarespace is brilliant because it's just drag and drop. There's templates to use and it looks fantastic. We have a 10% discount for all of our viewers and a 14-day free trial. If you want to try out Squarespace, head to squarespace.com/indieprojects, and there you go. You can try it out. Let us know what you think of it. I'll put a link in the description so it's easy for you to find. Thank you very much for watching today's video. We're having so much fun on the road, and look forward to sharing more with you. Bye. Head over to theindyproducts.com/shop and check out our new merchandise. Join us on Patreon for exclusive content, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.